Hi students, I just wanted to go through the last project, which is creating a realistic object in Illustrator. So you've been taking a photograph either online or on your own um, and putting it into an 8.5 by 11 vertical or horizontal document, or it can be 9 by 12 inches. If you're going to get an image, it should be 3,000 pixels wide or higher. Unsplash.com has royalty-free, high-resolution images that you can take images from. But you want to, if you're going to take a photograph, you want to make sure the image has not much in the background, like this image here, and that its resolution is at least 3,000 pixels and higher. Okay, so let's see if I can do this because I've been having issues. But I've got my 8.5 by 11 document. I can go to File, Place, and grab my image. Oops. And I pulled this image off the internet, and I can simply place it into the document that way. Or conversely, you could just drag in your image into the document, but you're going to have to size it once you're in the document, which can be a pain. Either way, it works. Now, this image is, let's see, in the bottom layer. And what I want to do is create another layer and copy this image. So I'm going to press Command C, Command V. I think it's Alt C and V. And I'm going to set this image aside. So this image over to the right is where I'm going to get the colors from. And this image is where I'm going to trace the document. So I'm going to lock this layer. So I'm going to go to the bottom layer. I'm going to lock it. And if I double click the layer, it'll dim the image so that I can trace it. Then I can hit P and have the pen tool. Actually, I have to create another layer here. I'm going to lock that second layer. So on the third layer, I'm going to put my artwork. I'm going to go ahead and name that artwork. And then I'm going to name my color layer color. And then my bottom layer, my trace. So now on my artwork layer, I am simply going to start to trace out the shapes of this bottle here. So if you are having issues with the pen tool, I mean, we did an exercise before the mandala project on how to use the pen tool. You may want to refresh and go back to that exercise and work on those skills on how to use the pen tool. A pen tool is a very powerful tool in Illustrator. Um, so I'm not going to do the bottle cap. I'm just going to do the glass here. I'm going to take out the fill so I can see it. Okay, so now I have the bottle shape, and then I can go in with the direct selection tool, which is this white arrow tool, or you can press A for the direct selection tool. And I'm just going to clean up the edges a little bit. So that looks pretty good. So my first step is to look at the shapes, the large, massive shapes, and start to trace those shapes out. So we're looking for large color shapes. And notice I press A and P to go back and forth. So and you want to connect all the lines together in a shape. So you want to make sure you oops. You want to make sure you finish off the connection of the shape. So that's one whole shape that you can color later. So in this, so I'm just hitting A and P. After I trace the shape, I hit A for the direct selection tool, and then I hit P again to start tracing the shape again. So so I'm tracing this. I'm looking for colors that are very similar in color to trace. Now I've made that shape, so I'm going to hit A and then click on the board and hit P again. See that? So oops. So I've connected it. I'm hitting A, click on the board to deselect, and then hit P. Now I'm back in my pen tool, and so we can see that I'm getting all these shapes in here. Even these light colors here. Okay, so since I did my first video, let me go to um, a kind of jump ahead here. Let me just save this. Okay, so I'm jumping ahead. Now, the first thing I want to do is, once I've gotten all these shapes, you can see all the shapes are already selected. I created this background color underneath everything, and I am going to use my gradient tool. So I'm going to go to my gradient tool and put a gradient in there. And let's just move this gradient this way. And I'm going to double click the gradient slider circle and use my eyedropper. Oh, first what you have to do, in order to select a color, you have to double click your eyedropper and turn off appearance here. So that allows you to select a color in your color image. So now that that's selected, I'm going to double click this, hit my eyedropper, and select a color. And then on this eyedropper, I'm going to select kind of the cooler color here. So now we've got this going. Actually, let me make it even brighter. There we go. And then I am also going to take this slider, hold Option, and move it to that. So now I've got this kind of feeling going on to deal with the color variance in here. So, and then I'm going to kind of rotate it like this to get that kind of feeling, and maybe extend it a little bit out. So we've got that kind of coloring there. So now it's a matter of just grabbing colors So I'm grabbing colors from the bottle. And we can adjust the gradients of these colors later, but right now I'm just grabbing the colors, basic colors. And then what I want to do, I'm going to put a color down here. So and I'm going to use my gradient, and I am simply going to send both these colors to back, and then modify my gradient. Oops. So now I have that kind of thing going on, and then I am going to grab some of this color here. then I'm going to grab some of this. And some of this. Okay, so what we could do with, I'm going to fix this thing here. And make so what I was about to say is I am going to make this a little darker here. And then see that light coming out of there? I am going to use my gradient mesh in the middle here and put that little light source there. So it's got that kind of feeling to it. I'm also going to put one here and kind of change the color of it. And then I'm going to put one here and change the color of that too. Oops. It's not working. Now, there's a slight variation in color down here. So I am going to kind of create and I'm going to pull that color underneath. I'm going to click on both of these and then send it to back. And then I'm going to adjust my So I'm slowly adjusting the colors behind the image. You can start to see how it's coming along. Um, Let me see. I think I have a more recent version. Okay. So here we go. You could see how I did all that within the document. So these were gradient meshes, and these were just gradients that I added. And you can see how it's turning out there. Um, okay. Um, so if you have any questions, it's a lot of work. I mean, if you're going to do something like this, but it's worth it. Um, but I would like for you to do, if you can't tackle something like complex like this, please use an object that's simpler to do and work on. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Thanks.